ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Dish Y'all Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the Pliffer Comer himself, Zealeus.
Hello! It's good to actually see you on the Twitch instead of in my brain.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this, of course, is the Thursday Night Hangout. It's a live show where we try our best to cover the topics most important to you during the show. If at any point during the show you have any topics, questions, considerations, opinions that you want to share with the class, please add it to the chat room, be it on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, because we stream to all three now because we've seemed to have worked out that weird issue that we had a while back. But without further ado, you may have noticed we are off to a rocky start, and that's because Charlie's computer has decided that it's just going to try to do crazy stuff. Zealeus was getting distorted, and then we crashed the Streamlabs, and then we tried to start the show, and the intro didn't want to play. So this is going to be a fun show, ladies and gentlemen. Yay! So, without further ado, let's start off with an easy topic, okay? And this has to do with a lot of games out there that have individuals that are part of an organization. What I mean by that is, let's say you've got your football, your basketball, so Madden, NBA 2K, your hockey, NHL 2K, I'm assuming. And of course, you also have things like WWE 2K25 and stuff like that. My question for Zealeus is this. Now, in the NFL, they have these roster updates, right? So on Madden, they have roster updates. And these updates basically reflect what names are on what teams.
Yep.
Now, my question to you is, in your opinion, should players that are not in the organization, the league, whatever, be included in a roster update?
I mean, if they're not on the roster, then no. Is there some kind of gotcha I'm missing?
The reason for this is that, and the reason why I snuck WWE 2K25 into the equation is that they actually have a roster update that just got pushed that includes stars that have been cut from the company. So they are no longer with the company.
Well, wrestling's a weird thing because you have like stars who kind of come and go. And like, you know, you think about football, right? And like the team is actually like the 53-person squad, right? If you think about like, you know, the Super Bowl, it was Jalen Hurts and quarterback. It was really weird to like, let's throw in, oh gosh, who was the guy who went to the Super Bowl like a decade ago with the Eagles? The black guy.
Donovan McNabb?
Not Nick Foles, pre-Nick Foles.
Donovan McNabb?
Thank you. It'd be weird to feel like you're just throwing McNabb, right? And play. I'm just ignoring Foles because he already won a Super Bowl. So let's throw in McNabb so he can win his Super Bowl because he didn't get one, right? Well, no, like that would just be weird, right? Because that's not what happened. Or like with the Chiefs, let's play with Alex Smith instead of Mahomes because he didn't win a Super Bowl. No, like that's not how it works.
Right.
Now, if you have like a special mode or something, then sure, I don't care. But like the actual like real version, no. Like to me, it makes sense to have the real rosters. And I get there's probably like, you know, Legends rosters and shit. I'm ignoring those.
Yeah.
But for the sake of like the real version, then yes, it should be the actual roster. Of course, you get weird things like in the NBA where like, you know, Duncan gets traded mid-season from Dallas to Lakers, but those do happen. But to me, WWE, particularly like wrestling, is like a very, very weird situation because like it's not like a 53-man roster who won the Super Bowl. It's like a single guy who wins WrestleMania. It's a single gal who goes and wins at SummerSlam and wins the Women's Divas title, right? So it's like individuals. So to me, it's a very different situation in wrestling than it is with like sports teams. So when it comes to like whatever the WWE 2K whatever is, whatever the wrestling game is, to me, it's not that strange, I guess, especially because wrestlers are cut and signed on a very regular basis. It's not like they have seasons. Like at least with like professional sports, like the four main sports, like when the season is.
Right.
And you have to define off seasons, define trading periods, et cetera, et cetera. With wrestling, it's just whenever it happens, it happens. So, no, if I was a wrestling fan, I see that it wouldn't really bother me a whole lot.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, it's been a very, very long time since I've actually really paid attention. But the names, I'm just going to list you the names that are on the roster that are no longer with the company at this point. Authors of Pain, Baron Corbin, Blair Davenport, Cedric Alexander, Giovanni Vinci, Indy Hartwell, Isla Dawn, The Good Boys, Sonia Deville, and Tegan Knox.
I think those are all pretty recent releases, and none of them are really, big stars. There's some, if you follow wrestling, there's some recognizable names, but nobody who really pushes the needle.
Gotcha.
I mean, I guess the further question is, like, to your point though, is okay, if you're looking at, like, you're playing a season of, let's just say basketball, right?
Yep.
It would be weird, like, if you're playing your own, campaign, and all of a sudden Luka Doncic gets traded, and all of a sudden in game it gets updated for that trade. Like, that'd be pretty bizarre to me, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in wrestling, like, if they want to do live roster updates, like, I don't think that would also be weird though if they did it in wrestling. I guess if you have Baron Corbin as your main wrestling, he gets released and, like, you have to start over. I don't know. But I also don't know if they do, like, live roster updates for wrestling names.
Right.
That's what makes it even stranger. So
I'm sure that it's probably a seasonal release would be my guess.
I've not played, like, a wrestling game since, like, the old, like, WrestleMania arcade game back in the day where he plays Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I haven't. I mean, I think both of us are kind of the same boat. We don't really play a lot of sports games. The last sports game I played seriously was, like, the OG Blitz.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we answer that question fully, because, and I know people are really into them. Like, people are really into the Maddens and the NBAs.
Right.
More power to them. For me, it's too realistic. Kind of takes the fun out of it. I'd rather just watch it. That's just me.
I gotcha. So anyways, all right, moving on to the next topic. Excuse me. How about this craziness? This is a game that Zealeus played a shit ton of back in the day. It's a game called TF2. For those who don't know what TF2 stands for, that is Team Fortress 2. Now, why am I bringing up TF2 today? That is because Valve has announced that it is releasing not only the client, but also the server code in the mod tools to allow genius individuals to build completely new games based on TF2 and publish them on Steam.
I think that's pretty freaking rad. I mean, we always talk about, like, games, sports games in particular, are actually a good example of games that just all of a sudden get, like, disbanded one day, and you can basically not play them because you lose the online capabilities.
Yeah.
So I appreciate when a developer makes the effort to, go, if anything, go the other way, where it's like, let's make this game super accessible to the masses.
Yeah.
So cool. It also probably doesn't hurt that, Valve prints money over fist with Steam. That certainly doesn't hurt their situation, but cool. How old is TF2? I started playing that game like 15 years ago, it feels like, with the orange box.
Let's see here. TF2 was published in 2007, so it is 18 years old, or almost 18, I would assume.
Yep. So I guess 15. So yeah, I mean, I think obviously it still has a following. Like, people still play the hell out of Team Fortress 2, and if it gets more life and people enjoy it, I say rock on. That's pretty rad.
And for the people who've been modding and basically been playing around with it from, since way back when, this gives them even more excitement and maybe even more fuel to see how far they could tweak TF2 to what they truly want.
I guess more hats for everyone.
Less hats, more boots.
I actually stopped playing before the hats were even a thing. Like,
Uh-huh.
I played so long ago that like tradable shit was not a thing. It's like you had your loadout, and by gosh, you loved your loadout because that's what you had. My heavy had a machine gun, and it was glorious. There's none of those other pansy changing weapons.
I mean, it's really cool. I mean, so I do want to point out that this is it. What they basically did for Valve is freely available mod tools. This SDK that they release gives mod makers the ability to change and extend or rewrite TF2, making anything from small tweaks to complete conversions possible.
No, I think it's great. I don't know how you could have a problem with this. I think it's a neat thing that they've done to really open it up to the gamers and doing what they want to do.
Right. Now, of course, just a little side note. The one caveat, which I don't think anyone is going to be like, "Oh, you bastards," is that these mods must be free.
Again, I'm okay with that. If
Yeah,
you wanna,
exactly.
You know, it's always about being upfront. Like, what are the upfront expectations? Like, it'll be one thing if they release this and 6 months later, they're like, oh, by the way, but if they're upfront, you're like, hey, you can't monetize for it. It's better, I think, for the consumer anyways, because you get some weird, crazy ass people who try charging stuff.
Yep.
That'd be like, remember like back when the App Store was first out and you could pay like $1,000 for like a gold nugget on your iPhone?
There's the shiny gem for $5,999.
Yeah, you get like weird, you get just dumb stuff like that. It's 100% what would happen on this if you could charge for it. So, like you, yes, like you can't monetize it. Great. Yeah, it also would cut down on, that type of chicanery.
Yeah, and this also kind of legitimizes some of the reverse engineering that people have been doing for years.
Yeah.
Now they don't have to do that. They can actually get into the real code and instead of just playing on their private servers, they can give it to the masses.
Let's go. I wonder if we could like now embed a virus in it.
Oh, actually, wasn't the case? Wasn't there a game recently on some platform that actually had malware trapped inside, and it basically it only like I don't know, a couple hundred people downloaded it stupidly.
Yeah.
And then it just.
Well, it's always the tricky part. Like you look at a lot of mods, and a fair number require you to like install executables to like use the mod.
Yeah.
And it always makes me very leery whenever I see like install this random exe file to use a mod.
Yep.
It definitely always sketches me out. I'm usually like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's how you get bad things on your device.
Now, speaking of Valve, let's talk about a humongous achievement that has been achieved. A humongous achievement that's been achieved.
Wow. This must be an achievement for the achievement ages.
Absolutely. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, I know it sounds crazy, but Overwatch 2 has done it. It has finally crawled all the way back up in its ratings to become mixed.
Huzzah! I find the more AAA title is, like the less I believe the ratings, anyways.
Right.
I mean, there comes a point where it's like, if you ever watch the show, I played the hell out of Overwatch 1.
Mm-hmm.
I never played Overwatch 2 because I just got tired of the game. But if people still like Overwatch 2, then more power to them. It's not like it's some evil, nefarious plot to, take over the government. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Yep.
But it's just a video game. So if you don't like it, I know we talked about review bombs a number of times, and that's why, for the most part, review bombs pretty much annoy me.
Right.
Because it's just an emotional knee-jerk reaction to an initial launch.
Mm-hmm.
it kind of always rubs me the wrong way. And, you can have issues with Overwatch 2, but it's still functionally from a gameplay perspective, that looter shooter that has great mechanics. So it's kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, I just, it's just the way that Overwatch 2 basically screwed the pooch, basically from launch. It was released in 2023, so a year and a half later, it's finally getting back up to mixed. Having basically lived the vast majority of its existence in mostly negative. So go team. Yay.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's still, I mean, you look at Twitch, it's still number 13 in the rankings. So obviously people still watch it.
Yeah.
It's still a very popular game.
Yep.
So, and that Blizzard's still making stupid amounts of money on the game.
Obviously.
And people play and enjoy the game. So I'm just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
When it comes to, I think really what got people upset was the bait and switch from the original vision from Jeff Kaplan had promoted. Is what it comes down to.
PvE.
PvE, and it was going to basically be like a paid add-on.
Mm-hmm.
And just none of that happened.
Yep.
Of course, the irony is one of the issues that we talked about a number of times with Overwatch 1 was near the end of it. There was no updates basically to the game.
Yep.
And say what you want about Overwatch 2, it gets regular updates. I mean, they had the planned schedule and they pivoted. Like they went from, they started experimenting with the 6-person players again.
Mm-hmm.
So and maybe that's like back to negative or neutral. So that's like they are trying. But you also have to contend with answering to the bean counter overlords.
Ah, yes, those bastards.
Yes. We must meet the bottom line. Hello, new NVIDIA graphics cards.
Yes. Okay.
I don't know if anyone follow, like, if you want to hear, does their own PC, but there's a couple of pretty prolific PC reviewers, for like components, and they're all completely shitting on the new NVIDIA series, and it's just kind of humorous to watch the reviews.
Fantastic.
Because it's literally like, don't buy this. You're literally burning money if you do. Like, good to know.
I feel like that's the majority of shit out there that we're buying these days is we're literally just burning money.
Yep. That's way to be positive and uplifting with burning our money.
It's hard not to look at the world that way right now. So, anywho,
I mean, the real problem with the graphics cards was stupid cryptocurrency. Really just screwed up the market, and that and now AI. Between the two, it's really the gaming consumer who's left getting the shaft.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. On to the next story. Ladies and gentlemen, I have some tragic news for you. And it revolves around the release of the Switch 2.
Okay.
And that news is, for the first time in, I don't know if ever, for the first time, when Nintendo Switch 2 launches, there will not be a Mario game on launch day.
What? Why even buy a Nintendo Switch 2?
Now, let's take it a step further. When there is, because there's a rumor that there is a Mario game that's starting to be developed.
I'm sure there is.
But it's not going to make the launch window.
Okay.
But when that game comes out, it will not, for the first time since the N64, it will not feature the voice talent of Charles Martinet.
The end of an era.
Yes.
So years ago at Dragon Con, my friends, they went as Mario and Luigi.
Mm-hmm.
And he was at the Walk of Fame. And if you've ever been to a convention, it's like a big deal at the Walk of Fame. In order to do anything, you're supposed to get paid, right?
Yep.
And I remember my friends, they went up and started chatting with him, and they had like a good 5+ minute conversation with him while people were waiting in line. But he was so enamored and had such a good time with my friends that I just sat there and chatted with them for free, because he just enjoyed talking with fans of Mario.
Mm-hmm.
It's just cool because like he didn't have to. I mean, because he's losing money literally by not doing like autographs and stuff, and they ain't cheap. If you've ever been to a convention, you know they're not cheap to get either. So it was just kind of a cool thing where he just sat there and just chatted with them about, you know, things. I wasn't there. I wasn't actually talking, so I don't know what they talked about, but it was just a fun thing to see happen. Or it was like, cool, Mario, let's talk.
Yep. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's sad, but it's the inevitability of video games and all kinds of positions. They move on.
Now, like I said, there's a rumor that there is a Mario game in the works, and this Mario game has a play type that is Zealeus' absolute favorite, and that is that this game is rumored to be open world.
Open world.
Which
great.
I don't want an open world Mario. I'm sorry. Mario is stages for me. It will from the beginning and forever. It will be stages where you go to different worlds or different planets or different.
What about open world stages, bro?
Oh my god.
Yeah, like I think open world. I think like Zelda.
Yeah.
Like in terms of that, what I mean by that, like those prestige Nintendo games, like in reference to those. If you want that, you already kind of have that with your Zelda games.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you already have that. And I felt like they fit two perfectly good different types of play styles.
Yeah.
Like I said, Mario is kind of that stage level, kind of puzzle-esque. Zelda had the puzzles too, kind of, but it was the obviously open world 3D, and it's
Well, the other thing about Mario games is I feel like there's always a time limit to the stages. And now you're going to get rid of that too? I mean, what else are you going to get rid of? You don't actually eat mushrooms this time.
No. You eat little green aliens.
I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be really weird if the next Mario is truly an open world, no time limit, more on exploration and less on like platform puzzle type of situation. I don't know.
Well, because usually also like I associate open world games with like RPG elements, right? Like you level up your character, you have hit points, you have all these different things, and obviously you have inventory and that kind of things, which Zelda has in spades. But that's also not Mario's calling card, right? Like, I guess you level up by getting flowers and mushrooms, but like that's intrinsic to the design level of having levels.
Right.
You're not necessarily like I have stats to allocate, like, do I want to make my fire more powerful from the flower? Like, I don't want that for my Mario game.
Right. No. Okay. So let me put a little caveat there, and that is if this actually turns out to be like a new version of Super Mario RPG, then okay, I'm game. But if we're talking, like foundation level Mario, the successor to, I think the last one was Odyssey,
Yeah.
then no, just no.
I guess we'll have to see. I mean, I will say though, at least like Nintendo has a very good track record with their Mario games.
That's true. Well, they've got a very good track record with almost every single one of their first-party titles.
True. So if there's a developer who I trust not to screw the pooch, would be them.
Yeah.
Just as long as they're hopefully not chasing hopefully they're not doing it for the sake of doing it because everything's like such an open world game now.
Yeah.
I hope that's not why they're doing it. They're just not following the trend. And if they're going to do it, it's because they think it will make a better actual game.
Yeah. Now, also, there is a rumored Metroid Prime 4 for those individuals out there. Metroid Prime, of course, is the first-person shooter version of Metroid, which is pretty good. And that is, it's not really open world. You're in areas, but you can kind of just roam around those areas. But that would be the first Prime entry since the Wii, I think. I think that's right. So yeah.
We shall see.
Yes, we indeed shall see. Okay. Let's talk about one more story and then we'll do our friends of the show section. The next story is, ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to announce that not Nintendo, good Lord, Charlie. I see the letter N and I immediately go to Nintendo. Nickelodeon has announced that there is going to be a new Avatar: The Last Airbender, a new a continuation of the story. Now, of course, we've had Avatar: The Last Airbender. Then there was, oh my gosh, what was it called? The Legend of Korra. And now there shall be a new one. This one is being called Avatar 7 Havens. It will follow a young earthbender who discovers she's the new Avatar after Korra, but in this dangerous era, that title marks her as humanity's destroyer, not savior. Hunted by both human and spirit enemies, she and her long-lost twin must uncover their mysterious origins and save the 7 Havens before civilization's last strongholds collapse.
That sounds like a book series I read, where it's basically the equivalent of the Earthbender seeing as humanity's destruction, but the one who can actually save it.
Now, they have basically promised, verbally, not contractually, that there will be at least 2 seasons for this new series. I don't think they've actually released an actual date. However, could be cool.
I've never actually watched Airbender.
Really?
I am familiar with it. I don't know why. It's just never been something I got into over the years.
Not gonna lie, I actually did not really get into it until I think COVID, when it was on Netflix, I think, and I just binge watched it, and it was pretty good.
I want to say one of them's on Netflix.
Huh?
I feel like one of them's on Netflix. I feel like I've seen it.
The live action Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live action show, not the movie. That movie does not exist.
The movie that does not exist is not on there.
Yeah, that's not. I don't think it's there. If it is there, then it should be removed immediately. But no, the live action TV show that Netflix signed on and has been doing it, and I think that second season is coming soon. I think they had such a good turnout for their first season that I believe they actually inked not 1 but 2 additional seasons. So I think there's a second and a third season on the way for that. And of course, for those of you who like the live action adaptations that Netflix has been doing, One Piece is well on its way for its second season production, and hopefully we'll get to see that sooner rather than later, because
I'm still waiting for a live season adaptation of Berserk.
You're going to keep waiting, bud. I'm sorry. But
Come on.
the amount of times they've tried to like bring that back, and then it's kind of apparently, from my understanding, it's just so hard to get to have all that is in the manga truly translate onto the screen.
Okay, so here's a question for you.
Yeah.
You have solo leveling.
Yep.
Solo leveling the anime, which is phenomenal.
Yep.
What would you think of a solo leveling live action?
I mean, be a shit ton of CG. I mean, it would be good. Yeah. I think it could be good.
You'd have to, like, the main male lead would make or break the show.
Yes, it's true.
Because, like, you think about other ones, and like, I know there's a main character, but it's more like an ensemble cast.
Right.
So if like one character, maybe actor isn't maybe the best, the show can still go on.
Yeah.
But like, if they did a live action solo leveling, I think it could be done. If Yuji-san, I can never actually remember his name correctly.
Yeah.
Like, he makes or break the show. If he's not good, like, the show doesn't work.
Yeah. And but then also, how would they, when they deal with the transition of his basically New Game Plus situation?
Yeah. Although I foresee if they did like live action, they probably would somehow like ham-fist in a love story with like that S-rank warrior chick.
Yeah, probably.
Just because that's what happens when you go to live action. Like, oh wait, it's live. We need more.
We've got to add romance,
yes,
and
romance
and teen angst and all this shit that's not actually part of the show, and it's not really solo leveling anymore. It's solo. I was about to say solo lovemaking, but that's wrong.
Co-op leveling.
Co-op leveling. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I will say that that this show is being created by Avatar co-creators. So you know they it's not like you're getting a whole new like leadership on the show. So you're going to have some people who are very familiar with the source material, which is frankly a very good thing, to actually have individuals in the room who know the source material. Well, sometimes those individuals may be a little too much and may, irk people to the point where they let you walk. Henry Cavill.
Damn you for being passionate about this entire series and actually caring.
I know. Anyways, I still can't. I haven't gotten over that yet, and it's been years now.
Well, I'm 100% a sucker, and we'll still watch the next season of The Witcher.
Yes, even if it crashes and burns, I'm going to watch it crash and burn.
I still watch it. I mean, I think part of this because season 1 is some of the best television I've ever seen, bar none.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, it has got worse. Like, it is undeniable.
Yep.
But in a way, it's almost like we have such a phenomenally good first season. It's like subsequent seasons are almost like graded on a curve now, because, let's just say it's a 7 out of 10. It almost feels like it's a 4 out of 10 because the first season was so freaking good.
Agreed.
So I'm still going to watch it regardless, and we'll see what happens. All
right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause real quick to thank the individuals who help Alter Confusion be the Alter Confusion that you love and adore. And I pray that this actually works in Streamlabs right now. But with our track record, we'll just see. So let's start off with the first friend of the show, and that, of course, is the Indie Cluster. Yes. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts to challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. The next shout out we got to give is to Noodle Boy Media. Founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodle Boy Media, previously White Kid 47 Media, is your choice for professional photo shoots and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out facebook.com/noodleboymedia. The next shout out we got to give is to an individual who I wish was coming tomorrow because I have some serious aches and pains that I need adjusted. And that, of course, is Hero Chiropractic. Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore. The company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They're committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to herochiropractic.com. The next shout out we got to give is to the music maestro himself, and that, of course, is CrossPad Creative. CrossPad Creative, need a new logo or want to work on a full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content? Just like Alter Confusion, CrossPad Creative offers a whole host of solutions for individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he can do for you. Excuse me. The final shout out we got to give is to the original patron backer of Alter Confusion. That, of course, is Agile Axiom. By day, Ax leads both the development team and system administration team working with satellites at NASA's Goddard campus. But while not in meetings and many times during, he is the Agile evangelist, Agile Ax, championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading Agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information, go to agileaxiom.com.
By the way, I keep on linking this book because his website's down.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, it's sad.
Yes. Check out his book, though. It's good. That Agile Common Processes Development. All right. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, I know at this very moment in time, you've got to be asking yourself, how do I become a friend of the show? Well, it's quite simple. Alter Confusion survives on the love and support of fans like you, and so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, lovers, haters, fans, lovers, haters, demigods, interdimensional beings, gods, demons, aliens, werewolves, vampires, mummies, swamp creatures, supporters, and more to become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. We currently have 2 tiers that you can subscribe at. We've got the $1 tier, that's $1 a month, or $12 a year. What that gets you is early access to all of our playthroughs, which, by the way, right now, it is The Expanse, a Telltale series. The second chapter just dropped this past week. But you also at the $1 level, you gain the ability to participate in patron-only posts. Now, if you're feeling extra fisky, you could bump it up to the $5 a month. That's $5 a month or $60 a year tier. And what that gets you is everything at the $1 tier, plus your name or organization added to the Friends of the Show section of every single Thursday night hangout. So if you want to become a patron of Alter Confusion, go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/Altered Confusion. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about the fact that Alter Confusion is proud to say that we have been fundraising for Extra Life for 14 years straight. Extra Life is gamers doing what they do best, game. to help sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network Hospital. The money that we raise through Extra Life will go directly to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta as unrestricted funds. This means that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars we raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. So if you have the capacity to donate, please go to extra-life.org and search for Altered Confusion today. And yes, I signed up yesterday because I promised you last week that I would sign up before this show, and gosh darn it, I kept my promise.
It happens to the best of us.
Shazam! Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking to maybe upgrade your awesomeness, we do have Alter Confusion merch. We have the hat, which I am wearing this evening. We have a vinyl sticker. We have the coffee mug, which I thought I had down here, but now it seems to have wandered off, which tells me that one of my children has utilized it probably as an ice cream cup for some reason. But anyways, you've got hats. We've got pet food bowls. We've got coffee cups. We've got vinyl stickers. We've got notebooks. We've got flip-flops. All you got to do is go to alteredconfusion.tv/merch, and you can check out all the awesomeness right there.
So much awesomeness.
Too much awesomeness, some may say. Okay. Let's get back into these stories, shall we? Okay, so this is bad news for some people out there who are in the boat of reading your e-books. Now, fun fact, e-books, especially when it comes from Amazon, is still kind of sort of a little bit like those digital copies of games that you have on your computer. At any time, the owner of the platform, in this case, Amazon, can make edits and changes to that book or even remove the ability for you to have that book. Now, one of the fun features that Kindle has been toting for many, many, many years and is now going away is the fact that you had the ability to basically download and transfer via USB option on their website. So basically what you would be able to do is you could get your ebook versions and download it on your computer so you could have a local copy. And then, of course, you could then plug your Kindle in and just upload it that way. That feature is going away on February 26th, okay, of 2025. You have 6 days. If you want to make sure that the copies of all your books, which by this point my library is way too humongous to even attempt this because I think I'd just probably break my computer or make Amazon think that I'm doing something illegal. But if you want to have backup copies of your books, maybe some of the books that are a little less known, or maybe even some of the books that are now out of print that you still have access to, you may want to utilize the ability to download it to your PC before February 26th, which would be what, next Wednesday? Is that right? The 26th? Yeah, next Wednesday.
Yeah, the 26th. Yeah, 6 days away.
So, there you go.
The continuation of You Don't Own Anything.
Exactly. Now, from my understanding, that's just a feature they're going to drop from their website. It's not. They're not going to basically go away from the ability for you to transfer an ebook from your PC to your Kindle.
Interesting.
There is the ability. You can basically download if you have like there's like a Kickstarter version of some like indie publishing out there.
Yeah.
And so they give you like a universal kind of format that you can download to your computer and then upload onto your Kindle or any ebook reading device. So I don't see them doing away with that feature.
I've tried a Kindle once and I just couldn't do it. I'm like, I'm sorry. I need my physical book. I need to kill trees, damn it. It's the only way I can read is on this white/yellow pages.
Just because of the sheer volume of books that I read, I decided to go to Kindle, one, because I can read without the light on.
Yeah.
And two, if I accidentally splash water or some kind of, juice or whatever, I could just wipe it down, and I'm not warping the book. If it's a favorite book of mine, the spine may plead for mercy after a while, whereas a Kindle, it's still in one piece. However, speaking of which, I'm actually surprised I do not own an ebook copy of The Legend of Huma. I own 3 physical copies of The Legend of Huma.
Part of it, and I realize this is extremely vain, but also having all my books in my library.
Yeah.
Like kind of like an art exhibit in a way. So I appreciate that too.
See, my problem is that my space has been, 1, taken up by the tons and tons of Funko Pops that I have, and 2, I have to share with many other humans, so I don't have as much space as I used to showcase all my stuff.
I do not have a space dilemma on my hands.
Yeah.
I mean, I do, but it's of my own making.
Of course.
Yeah. Of course. So that's fair.
Yes.
My problem is both my bookshelves are actually full, so I actually am going to a point of like, what do I do?
Build a new bookshelf.
I have no wall space. It's kind of sad.
I don't know what to tell you, Zealeus.
Maybe I'll just move into your basement and take over all your wall space.
Speaking of my basement, the week
I wasn't a no.
The week of March 10th, there will not be any streaming or Thursday night hangout because we have to move completely out of the basement.
Is it finally going to get repaired?
No, we're bringing in another company to fix any future flooding problems.
Okay.
And then we'll have to work with a company to start putting stuff back together. So all of the exterior walls will be stripped down to the cinder blocks.
That sounds pretty intense.
And the HVAC will have to be moved, and the water heater will be moved. So there will not be any water or air in the house for 4 or 5 days.
At least it's in March and not like in the middle of August.
This is true. This is true. So just a heads up, ladies and gentlemen, that there won't be a Thursday night hangout during that week.
Hopefully you live to tell the tale.
Yes, hopefully. My wallet may not, but I hopefully will live.
The joys of home ownership.
Indeed. All right, so there's there's an interesting question that I was asked the other day that I want to bring up to Zealeus with basically what time we have remaining. And that is that we live in, a digital world where stuff is constantly coming out, and there's always copycats for popular or unique games out there. So my question to you, first of all, what makes a game truly released? Is it as soon as it goes into early access? Is that part of the release and therefore it's been released? Or is it not until it goes gold?
I would say not until it goes gold.
Okay.
I know that line becomes blurred or has become blurred, but I still consider the official release. It's been like, it's an early access release. It's a form of a release, but you almost have to append early access versus if you say a game has been released, it means it's gone gold.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
Okay. So let's take it a step further. Now, let's say that there is a game that's been early and is currently in early access. Okay. And a full release of a clone game then comes out.
Oh, geez.
Who has the power, in your opinion?
Whoever did first.
So the person who's put the early release out there, not the
because
finished
at that
product.
point it does come down. Like I know it's we're playing semantics of release versus early access release.
Yep.
But there's still behind that. There's still the intellectual creation of that product, whatever phase of the release it's in. It's kind of like when you patent something, right? Mm-hmm. It's like if you patent something, but it hasn't got produced because it costs $10 million to release, it's not like somebody else magically gets that patent because You didn't actually create. That's actually what patent trolls do. They might not create it, but by gosh, they came up with the idea.
Well, I think isn't that what Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are doing? Is they're literally now like putting patents in to strengthen their cases against Pal World?
I think Pal World actually, like, I don't know the details, but like 9 of the 10 like things that were brought against Pal World were basically thrown out.
Yeah. And so I think that's why Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are now like copyrights or intellectual property patents or something like that.
But at the same time, for the most part, like, okay, yes, I would argue that the earliest adopter has the right.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, when it also comes to video games, I'm very much on the side of let be what it be.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's literally like a digital fabrication, in which I do not consider Pal World to be a digital fabrication,
right?
Because to an extent, all games are are inspired by other games.
Yep.
I mean, lately I've been playing mostly action RPGs, and that's a great example of like they're all freaking pretty damn similar when you look at them. Obviously, there's nuances, but overall, you can look at any one game and be like, they should be able to sue them because they both have swords. We can go kill things.
Yeah. Okay, so to the continuation of the question that I received is, okay, now that we've cleared that part up, in our own opinion, what about if a game, be it in early access or full release, it was released on Steam, and then a game that's eerily similar, not exactly the same, but eerily similar to all of the awesomeness that makes it, one of the top 25 games on Steam, appears on the iTunes Marketplace, and it has no attachment to the creator on the Steam Marketplace.
Do we have a specific example here? I feel like this is going somewhere.
There's a couple that I've seen. There's one, the game that I was playing a lot of that just scared the hell out of Zealeus is called oh my gosh, I've got a Backpack Battles, where it's just inventory Tetris and you're trying to combine items to make them stronger.
Also, it's like a match 3 with inventory.
So it's not really. It's basically you. It's more like crafting with limited inventory. Like you have to have this wooden sword and this whetstone, and then survive a battle, and then they combine to make a stronger sword for the next round.
It's tricky though, because like even that concept has been done.
Yeah.
Like it's like, yeah, like, and they're like, so I played quite a few. I'm sure there's a technical term for these type of games.
Yeah.
But it's the game where like basically you idly collect things, you take those and then basically craft things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's a genre name for them, but like I played a couple of those and they're all freaking similar.
Yeah.
Like it's the exact same concept. Like in the first level, you can collect copper ore or you mine it and you can turn that into a copper sword, and they all do the same thing.
Right.
But to me, like, there's different assets. They give it slightly different names. You have different worlds. They're inspired by their predecessor, obviously, but I personally don't see an issue with it because in the end, it comes down to who does it best.
Mm-hmm.
Like if the one who does it second does it better, then, well, you should have done a better job if you're first.
And to be totally honest with you, I think as much as I love, unique creativity and whatever, if the developer is on the PC and if you release something, exceptionally close to the same thing, but not quite on just the iPhone, and the PC developer is never going to is just satisfied with the PC.
Yeah.
Then I don't, okay. You've got people can get some variation of that type of game on a different platform that maybe they have access to that they may not have had access to previously.
I can see that. That makes some sense.
But yeah, That was the one I saw. I can't remember the one that my buddy was talking about. Um,
Yeah.
I think it was some puzzle game or something. But I was just like, ah, you know,
Yeah. It's just in video games. It would be such a slippery slope if developers are allowed to just start suing each other for similar ideas.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
But people get sued for stupid stuff. So,
True. Yes.
Yeah. So, Zealeus, what have you been playing?
I'm still playing quite a bit of Borderlands 3. I hate the story. It's stupid, dumb, because they have a character who pisses me off. But the gunplay is, as is usually the case with Borderlands, phenomenal. So I'm playing it for the guns and the killing of people, fake people, obviously, in the digital world. That's why I'm enjoying it, because it's just a fun game to just go around and make things explode.
Gotcha.
One thing I really hate, that it does, and this is not the only game that's guilty of it, but like you'll get a remote quest and you basically have to stand there for like 2 minutes while they just talk through this remote quest that you really don't care about. But you just have to stand there while they go through it and just give their lines. I'm like, really?
I know you don't like dialogue, okay, Zealeus? I know that you just want them to point you in the right direction, let you kill a bunch of things, they come back and they get the reward. Don't say anything to me, just hand it to me and let me go on my way.
Sorry, I'm playing Borderlands to frag things, not for the deep philosophical discussion going on in the storyline.
Fine.
I know.
What
are you playing, sir?
I have I've stopped playing that Switch game. It's just getting so freaking tedious.
Yeah.
And I've now come to like a crossroad. In my mind, have I played enough in order to write a review of this game? Because I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue any further, just because it's so tedious.
So before this, I was also playing Final Fantasy 12. I think it's 12 on the Switch.
Okay.
The problem is I got to a point where the AI is so dumb, it's basically bricking my party. There's like this whole like security wing you have to run through. And basically if you hit like this door, like you have to run through like this laser door. It's like a security door, right?
Yep.
And you can't avoid it. It's part of the game. That's not the issue. The problem is that happens is when you run through it, enemies come and your party NPCs will start going back and forth between this door and like infinitely spawning more enemies. And I'm just like, stop moving, damn it. And it's just like the AI is really starting to annoy me with the way that they move. And like, normally I don't mind dumb AI because like I can work around it, but like when it just continues to spawn enemies because it's hitting this like laser door, I'm like, okay, this is just frustrating me now.
So it reminds me of my experience with Starfield, where if you have your companion and you have to go on a stealth quest, you're trying to sneak around. Your companion's walking through the room normally, triggering everyone goes, "Oh, you're not allowed here. What's going on?" And then you have to kill everyone when you're trying not to, you're trying to go for 0 casualties, and you end up having to just paint the floor with everybody.
That's actually something Hogwarts Legacy did really well. Whenever you stealthed, you were with a partner occasionally, they would stealth with you.
Yeah, the Starfield, your partner does not stealth. It's just they're just walking in like they own the place. The game that I've played to replace the Switch game that I was playing, I broke down and I bought a new title, and I promised myself I wasn't going to buy a new title, but
Borderlands 3. Not Borderlands 3. Baldur's Gate 3.
No. It's not a new title anymore.
Well, to you it is.
No, I'm talking like brand new, like it just got released.
Oh, I'm going to guess then. Avowed.
Yes.
What do you think, sir?
I like
because I'm tempted by it, honestly.
I like the story. Okay, so I like the story. The combat is challenging. Like, you can't just Rambo it. You do have stamina, so you gotta so if you're gonna go ranged, even if you go ranged, like pulling back your bowstrings, it's gonna cause you a little bit of distress.
Sure.
The combat feels good. They give you indicators, visual indicators of, like, you could tell like the guy's about to swing his sword because he kind of has this one motion where he just jerks a little bit further, and then here it comes. So bring up your shield. Hopefully you have a shield. My only qualm with this game is that whoever was in charge of trying to like sync the lips with what's being said did not do their job at all. Oh my God.
That sounds
is bad.
really annoying.
Like, I cannot look at the screen while they're talking.
So
I have to watch all the cutscenes in my peripheral. Otherwise, it just drives me nuts.
So one thing I've heard that apparently is like a really big argument about the game is first person versus third person combat.
I've only done first person.
You do what?
I've only done first person.
Okay, because apparently people are like, "Oh my gosh, this should be third person." Apparently, there's like a big like debate on the internet over like what's superior for the game.
No, I honestly, I mean, I haven't toggled it into third person, but I like the first person view. It feels good. There is a lot of items to collect. Let's see here. How many hours have I put into this bad boy? I've put 10 hours into it already.
Not too shabby.
And that was like picking it up the beginning of the week, maybe. So
it's dedication. I appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I like the stories. The quests are kind of fun. I like the fact that I don't know what the end game is going to be, because I have a funny feeling that I'm going to get dicked over by the way I'm playing the game right now. Because you definitely, your choices to this point have made significant effects in the game. If you kill somebody, then you have some people going, "Well, why'd you do that?" And they won't talk to you anymore. Or if you let someone survive, you're like, "You're weak, you're spineless. I can't deal with you anymore. Send them to the prison," or whatever. So my actions have had consequences. I did get a nice achievement, though. I was able to, let's see, what's my achievement? Resolve a potential conflict peacefully 5 times. I have been the fucking negotiator, baby.
Boring.
Now, that being said, I have been walking like to the very edge of like where enemies are, and then just been utilizing my super bow to headshot them. And it is kind of fun to see the arrow still sticking out of their heads while you're fighting them. I appreciate that.
So is it you and 2 party members?
Yes. It starts off with you and 1 other.
Sure.
And of course there's a huge twist almost immediately, like within the first 2 hours of the game. But I've been rocking with 2 party members basically almost the entire game.
But you could have 3.
I don't know if you could have 3.
Oh, but right now you have 2. Okay.
I've got 2. I'm assuming that either one of them's going to leave, or maybe I gain an additional one. But as of right now, we're grooving. Also it is. I don't want to say it's like there's a classless system, but you have fighter, hunter, and magic user, or mage or wizard, or whatever the title is in the game.
Sure.
You have those 3, and you can, when you level up, you can point your skill points into any one of those 3 things.
Okay.
And new things open up based off of your character's overall level. So there's stuff that unlocks. You don't have to put 5 skill points into fighter in order to get to the second level, the second tier of skills. It's once you hit level 5 that those skills open up, and each skill has 1, 2, 3 levels in it to power it up.
You can take like a level 10 mage skill at level 10, even though you've been fighter up to level 9.
Exactly. Yep.
That's kind of an interesting way of doing it.
I've been looking more into just keeping an eye on all the passive skills that unlock, and at least dropping a point into the ones that will probably keep me alive. Like Hunter has a lot of them that deal with one-handed weapons.
Okay.
And there's also, if you hold the left mouse button, which if you just click on it, it's a regular sword attack, but you could charge up your attack. And you can also kind of buff that. If you do the warrior one, there's a passive skill that increases your HP, because I need it. Because sometimes I get a little bit swing happy, and then all of a sudden I have no stamina to block, and I get the shit kicked out of me.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I believe we've reached the end of our show. So, without further ado, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure getting here with our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
And remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother. And of course, it's not going to work. And here we go.